5, 4, 3, 2.
Crank it, Jerry.
Welcome to Into the Wild, the official podcast of the Washington Wild Pigs.
What do you hear? What do you say?
It's the best sports podcast in the world. Wait, is that true?
If you're committed enough, you can make any story. I once convinced a woman that I was Kevin Costner, and it worked because I believed it.
Now, here's your host, Kyle Dawson.
Did you get the popcorn?
Back on the Wild Things Baseball Network, it would seem that we are not going to wait another 15 minutes for the rain to completely clear and sun to return, which it has with the rainbow, to Wild Things Park in left center field. So this game has been called by our umpiring crew of Reed Hoover, Alex Laurie, and Mario Seneca, I guess cleared by the league. So we are done for the evening, and this is our post-game show as well as our Into the Wild podcast highlights here on the Wild Things Baseball Network. The final score is 4-0 in favor of Gateway, and it goes down in 6.5 innings due to the lead not changing in the top of the 7th. The statistics from the top of the 7th do count per Rule 7.01 Part D. Text from Steve Tasler, the commissioner of the Frontier League, comes in. So the top of the 7th does indeed count, but let's go through the scoring as it happened in this game. In the third inning, the Gateway Grizzlies got on the board first, a 2-run single by Kevin Krause that played at Abdiel Diaz and Andrew Moritz. The other 2 runs for Gateway in this 4-0 game would come in the 5th inning. An RBI double by Kevin Krause made it 3-0, and an RBI double by DJ Stewart, his 10th RBI of the year, made it 4-0 Gateway. Washington did not score, so the Wild Things have not scored since the error scored a run in the 7th inning of the game on Friday. That would be the 8th inning for Washington in the win, the 9 innings last night, which is 10 in the 6 innings today. So the Wild Things are without a run in 16 innings as they head out onto the road now to face Evansville and Florence in a 6-game road trip. The winning pitcher today for Gateway is Ryan Moore. He goes 6 innings, allows 4 hits, and he gets a shutout and a CG with it. No runs, had 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, and did not hit a batter. He threw 89 pitches. 61 of those were strikes for Ryan Moore. He is 1-1. The loser is Washington's Jordan DiValerio. 6 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 1 strikeout, and 1 walk for DiValerio today in a loss that drops him to 2-1, and there is no save. Time of the game goes until 7:17 from 5:37, so that is 23 plus 17 is 40, an hour and 40 minutes, which is the shortest game, but it's also the shortest game by innings that the Wild Things have played this year. The line totals 4 runs on 10 hits and no errors for the Gateway Grizzlies. It's no runs, 4 hits, and no errors for the Wild Things, and that is a wrap. Danny, obviously, we might have been able to wait another 15 or 20 minutes, but we'd already waited an hour and 15, an hour 20 at that point to get these guys loose and wait for the rain for 15 minutes and then take 20, 30 minutes to get the guys loose and get back on the field. Not in the cards. Gateway gets to head out a little early, and Washington suffers a series loss for the first time since opening weekend.
Yeah, obviously, when the rain hit, Wild Things are already down 4-0, and I think part of the conversation that the umpires probably had with even Gateway was, listen, we have a road trip, we're trying to get back on the road, like, let's not delay this anymore, like, kind of like, you know, a good type scenario, and Washington falls to this one, and DiValerio comes away with a loss. 10 hits from DiValerio is, you know, obviously not exactly what he wanted, but, you know, to only get 4 runs out of those 10 hits is a bit impressive. The Wild Things defense played tremendously and only allowed those 4 runs from the 10 hits, which this game could have definitely been a 6-0 game, Kyle. But they kept it a 4-0 game. The defense kind of helped DiValerio more than it shows on paper. But it just comes down to the bats at the end of the day. 4 hits, no runs. There was our best chance was, I believe, whenever Czech and Reed were on second and third, And then, 2 consecutive outs, it can't happen now. And, the rust has kind of been shaken off from that opening series. So now there can't be too many excuses for, why, you're not hitting the ball. And, hopefully they can come out and we can start hitting the ball again, because, for those 9 straight games, the Wild Things had some of the best offense in the whole Frontier League.
Yeah, listen, it happens. 2 games are going to go by for a lot of teams this season where they either don't score a run or they go 16 innings, like Washington has here without a run. Going to happen sometimes in professional baseball. Ryan Moore did a good job. Teague Conrad and company did a good job last night for Gateway. It's a series loss, but you know what? It's a 4-2 homestand. It sort of acts like you won 2 games in each series. In Washington, that 9-game win streak here early in the year, again, not firing on all cylinders. The 9-game win streak, they're the lost 2 at back-to-back here. They're 9-5 through 14 games. That's not a bad record. And going to play Evansville, a team who you just swept, and Florence, a team who, besides last night, for the most part, has struggled throughout the course of the 2024 start. So a big road trip coming up for Washington. We will be on the air on Tuesday, not from Evansville, but from Wild Things Park. We'll get the feed coming in here. You can watch the Evansville feed if you just want the live feed, or you can watch our remote feed with the broadcast emanating here from Wild Things Park with the game at Bosse Field. I will be back with the team on Friday in Florence. So the plan is to still do those 3 games on MixLR, as well as the Flow Baseball side of things from Wild Things Park for those 3 games in Evansville. And first pitch on Tuesday, I believe, is scheduled for 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern. So our air time will be about 10 minutes prior to those games. But stay posted to our social platforms for word on those situations and what we're planning on doing from the Wild Things Baseball Network perspective for those first 3 games of the series. Final score tonight, Gateway 4 and Washington nothing. A final in 6 innings thanks to a very, very large storm cell that came through. And it has been called after a delay of about an hour and 18 minutes or so from this point, but it got called a few minutes ago. So a little over an hour we waited, and no end in sight with the extra warm-up time, so this one is called due to weather. The Grizzlies are 9-6. Washington falls to 9-5, and will next play Tuesday at Evansville. For our entire crew up here in the press box at Wild Things Park and all of us at the Washington Wild Things, Kyle Dawson with Danny Erb saying so long from Wild Things Park. We will talk to you on Tuesday from Wild Things Park while the Things are in Evansville. Good night. And now returning to the Grizzlies this year. Roller towards second. Chance for 2. Berkey, Clowers, Reed, 2 ball.
His lead. 2-2, count the check. And Check sends that one. Will it get over his head? And it will. And confusion on the base path is Reed will go to third, and Check will continue his on-base streak to 46 games with a little celly at second base. So Andrew Check extends that streak to 46 with a double there.
After camp had started and he had already been placed on the inactive list. So here's the 0-1 served out to left center field, tailing. But still in the air as Caleb McNeely goes sprawling in the left center field gap and comes up with it.
Wow, what a catch.
I repeat, my ball club defends it better than your ball club. McNeely with a diving grab for out number 1 to retire Holt.